Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. Hopefully you guys aren't getting chopped out too much in the markets, because we've been having some good days and some bad days and some good hours and bad hours here. But we'll get into what I'm seeing here with Bitcoin. I'm seeing some worrying signs in the charts right now. Although I stick to the macro picture a lot and I go in the daily time frame, and I can still remain bullish on Bitcoin as long as we're above the 200-day moving average. I'm gonna go into the smaller time frames here, guys, and show you on the 1 hour time frame what's concerning me, and try to build up a bullish case if there is one. But I'm gonna give you guys the bearish case that I'm looking at right now. Okay. Obviously on the daily time frame, we've been in a downtrend on Bitcoin ever since Thursday of August 14th, where we saw Bitcoin at $124,500. As I start to zoom in a little bit here on the chart, we did see Bitcoin get to the lows here on Saturday, where we saw Bitcoin at 107,300 and 107,250 on Monday. And we had a good couple of days on Tuesday and Wednesday, right? But then we started giving back those gains here yesterday, going into Thursday here. And it's a nasty day here on Thursday. Bitcoin right now is down about 1.67% today, down about $1,800 from where it started off at. And it started off at around 111,700. Let me get into the 1 hour time frame here so you guys can see what I am starting to worry about here with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin lost that uptrend that I spotted yesterday. That was the first warning sign that we got here. Okay, and then here on the 1 hour time frame, what I'm really concerned about is this 200-day moving average, this red line here. I just called it the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. We lost that around 10 a.m. this morning. Then we came down, we got to the lows for today, where we saw Bitcoin as low as 109,300. And now we came back up to that 200 moving average, and we bearishly back tested it, unfortunately. We had a candle wick up to that area, about $110,200. And we lost it here, at least on Coinbase Exchange. This is data coming off of Coinbase Exchange. And we need to get back up there right now. Okay, like we got 17 more minutes before this candle wick. Before this candle closes on the 1 hour time frame. And if we get another close below this 200 moving average after we just bearishly back tested it, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go down to lower prices later on tonight. Okay. And if it is going to go to lower prices, you know, how much lower could it go? Well, you know, we got this candle wick low here on Tuesday around 8 a.m. on Tuesday, where we got as low as $108,400. I'm actually in a short on Bitcoin right now, 100x leverage short, and my take profit is at $108,000. I might even move it up to $108,400, see how things handle themselves here. You know, the bullish case would be is that this was the higher low here, and we're not going any lower. Okay. On my stop loss on my short, I do have it above the 200 moving average. I have it at like $110,500, I believe, last time I checked. Yeah, $110,500 is where my stop loss is at, because if I'm wrong, then I don't want to get blown out of the water. And if this is a higher low that's being formed, even though we're flirting with danger here on the 1 hour time frame, then that probably means that, you know, Bitcoin's gonna go up to higher prices. And we'll have to see how Bitcoin handles itself when it gets up to like 111,200, which is where these candle wick highs are at earlier this morning. We saw Bitcoin at 111,178 and 111,158. This would invalidate whatever bearishness we would be having here if we can just get right back up to that level at 111,100. But I'm not going to wait for that, for it to get that far. If we actually see Bitcoin get above this 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, then I can be back to being cautiously optimistic on Bitcoin. We still have a lot of work to do on other time frames here. You know, let's go into the 15-minute time frame. You know, we still have to get above the moving averages that are above us on the 15-minute time frame. And those moving averages, the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame, showing Bitcoin at 111,100 is the 200 moving average. Yeah, once we get back up to like 111,100 or 200, 111,200, I would say I could be back to being bullish on Bitcoin. But as long as we're doing this, we're below the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame, and we're below the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, I have to start becoming bearish. Okay, I have to start joining forces with the bears and the shorts and actually short Bitcoin to where I think the next take profit target's going to be. And I think the next take profit target is going to be like 108k, 108,400 was this low here on Tuesday, and then you know, maybe we could take it further down to like 107k, you know, 107k 250 like we saw here on Monday. Okay, so there's some take profit targets to look for. I'll go ahead and highlight it right now. You know, obviously this candle wick right here could be a take profit, and then right over here could be take profit. Okay, I think this zone in between 107,400 and 108,400 should be a good zone for the shorts if you're trying to take profit on a short here with Bitcoin. You know, we're day traders, you know, well, some of us are here. And we're trying to make money even when the market goes down. So if the market's going to do that to us, then we're going to try to make money on the way down. We still hold on to our long-term spot bags. We're still holding on to our spot bags with our long-term positions on crypto. But in the meantime, while we're trading and doing some day trade, yeah, I can see a potential short here on Bitcoin, especially after we bearishly back tested the 1 hour time frame here on Bitcoin. Guys, I need to grab something real quick. Give me a second. Alright. I gotta check in. I want to check in on my YouTube guys, see what you guys have been saying here. And I forgot to fire this thing up here. But I'm gonna check up on the chat here for YouTube and TikTok. Just give me a second here. I see we have Crypto Princess in the live chat. Good to see you, Crypto Princess. I'm glad you were able to make it. I try to make it to your videos and live streams as much as I can. Today I just had a busy day today with my rental car business. I had to bring one of the cars out of the auto body shop back over to my business after, you know, someone damaged it last month, and I had to go to the bank and get the money to pay the auto body shop. So I had a pretty busy afternoon. That's why I started my stream here. Usually I start at like 12 p.m. Eastern time, but you know, I had some things to do this afternoon, so here I am, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on the East Coast. I know, Crypto Princess, you're all the way out in I believe Britain, right? You're in England, somewhere in England, with that British accent of yours. I love your accent, by the way. I love it. But yeah, I see a few other people here in the chat as well. I see Dave P. Good to see you, Dave. And of course, I see Kevin in there. Good to see you, Kevin. And I got my TikTok guys. Let's see what my TikTok guys are saying right here. Trying to catch up on the comments here real quick. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Just try to get the likes to match the amount of people in the live stream. But yeah, I have to be short-term bearish on Bitcoin, especially after we bearishly backtested the 1 hour 200 moving average. And I'm just waiting for this 1 hour candle to close here. We got 11 more minutes. And I think if we get another, you know, body candle close below the 1 hour, below the 200 moving average, we're gonna probably see another nasty downside for Bitcoin here going into later on tonight. And the other thing that I'm also seeing on 1 hour time frame is we see that the candle wick, we got a candle wick high of 110,200 around 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then this candle wick was lower than that. You have a candle wick here that got as high as 110,129. Okay, so you're making lower highs here on the 1 hour time frame, and you're also bearishly backtesting the 200 moving average. Let's go ahead and try to measure out what could be the measured move here if Bitcoin does go down. So you can see that Bitcoin has been making bear flags here, and we just about to make another bear flag that I can see right now. I'm just measuring this out right here. And you know that would be the bear flag, right? The bear flag is kind of like a little bit lopsided here, but yeah, kind of like that. Trying to measure the lows here. And if this bear flag plays out, right, and we break out from where we are right now, I mean, I already measured that we're gonna come down to 108,400, but this measured move is also saying that we could see 108,300 here for Bitcoin, and I think that's gonna happen later on tonight, going into tomorrow morning. Just the way things are playing out right now. So this is just unfortunate because, you know, we made a lot of progress on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, only for us to lose that progress here. And this is all part of the choppiness and the volatility in the markets for this first week of September here. And, you know, we have seen some craziness back here, and, you know, during the weekend, you know, starting with last Friday, we made a low here on Bitcoin at 107,000, about $107,300. Came up, you know, made a lower high here, and then we came down and made a lower low that kind of like messed up some of the longs here. That, you know, they probably put their stop losses here, and they put it tight. They got stopped out, so the longs got stopped out. And then the shorts that thought they were, you know, doing all right by shorting what they thought was the top of Bitcoin right over here at 109,500, you know, they violently got taken out of their positions, and they got stopped out. If they put their stop loss tight at 109,500, they also got stopped out. So the market maker has been coming for both the longs and the shorts here. But we finally did get some direction where we started making higher lows and higher highs into this week. But now, you know, we topped out here on Wednesday, and we are now making lower highs on the 1 hour time frame and starting to make lower lows. And you know, right now I think the next move down is going to take us down to 108K, 108,400. Unfortunately, I entered a short on Bitcoin right before I started this live stream, because of what I've seen here with the 200 moving average, and I put my stop loss right above the 200 moving average at like $110,500. If you know, if we do go up, that'd be great for everybody, you know, that owns crypto. And I don't want to get too much of a punishment for being wrong on shorting Bitcoin, so my stop loss is at 110,500 for now on my Bitcoin short. All right, we got Sunio is in the chat right now. You say that this is you're saying, do you think crypto will go down today to 107K? I think we're on our way, possibly. No, nothing's guaranteed, right? But just measuring out this bear flag, right, that I see us forming on the 1 hour time frame, I can see us breaking out where we are right now down to 108,400. And 108,400 is confluent with this candle wick low here on Tuesday, where we got down to 108,400 on Coinbase Exchange. So I think that's what we have to look forward to here, unfortunately, for Bitcoin. You know, for those who want to buy some cheaper Bitcoin, you might be getting an opportunity to try and buy some cheaper Bitcoin, cheaper crypto. S says, how does Pith look when you do expect a bounce? And then Freeboy wants me to look at Solana. So let me go ahead. I guess I could take the request now. Appreciate you guys coming in with the request. So we'll take a look at Pith Network. And we'll take a look at Solana. Solana is one of my favorite coins. It's my biggest spot bag. I'm hoping Solana goes up rather than going down, at least in the long term here. But yeah, I look forward to looking at Solana for you. Hello World is asking, but when to get in? That's something that you have to choose for yourself. But if you're trying to buy some cheaper Bitcoin right now, or just cheaper crypto in general, I would try to see if this thing plays out where we go down to 108K later on tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'd be ready to click the buy button on some of your favorite cryptos because, you know, long term, you know, I know I gave like kind of like a bearish case on the short term, but long term we're still above the 200 moving average on the daily time frame and the 100 moving average on the daily time frame. So as long as we're above the 200 moving average, I'll always remain bullish on Bitcoin and whatever asset is above the 200 moving average on the daily time frame. But right now, I just see short-term bullish stuff, short-term bearish stuff going on the charts right now. So that's why I have to, my day trading hat, when I put the day trading hat on, I have to say to myself, okay, we are bearish in the short term. But then when I look at the long-term bigger picture, I just know that we are bullish. We're still bullish. We're just bearish short-term right now. At least for tonight. Alright, let's look at the Pith Network. Pith Network currently trading at just under 15 pennies. Oh boy, I got like a bunch of Fibonacci's going on right here. Let me go ahead and get rid of one of these here. I'm gonna have to readjust this Fibonacci as well. But I'll just actually let me get rid of that for now. Pith Network. As I start to zoom out, get the macro picture here. It's just like all the other altcoins where it's seen its better days in 2024, towards the end of 2024 during that little altcoin season or frenzy we had going on, and it's been making lower highs, lower lows, obviously. But I think Pith Network is trying to build up a bullish case here. Reason being is because Pith Network got above the 200-day moving average, this red line, and it did it in a very convincing fashion. But, you know, the problem with, you know, doing things in a very convincing fashion is if you're not able to hold and sustain those levels that you went to, it's going to be a violent move down, as you can see. Not as violent as the move up, but almost as violent, and you're kind of giving back almost all the gains that you made here on Pith Network. So that's unfortunate. And I think the reason why Pith went up was because something to do with like Donald Trump getting involved. Actually, I really don't know. I have to reread the news again for Pith Network. But I know there was some news over the weekend. And sometimes, you know, when you get the news, it's you know, buy the rumor, sell the news, and when the news comes out, people start selling. Okay, so this thing is coming right back down. It looks like it's coming down to the 200-day moving average, sitting at 14 cents. And I will quickly do a Fibonacci analysis on this to see how much further down it could go down. But I think we might have hit most of the levels, or the lowest level that we could hit, using just a Fibonacci. And yeah, look at the Fibonacci. You know, I measure from like where we were at, like 11 cents when we first got that impulse move, to the top of that impulse move when we got up to about 25 cents here. And we came right down to the 0.236. Like right now, the 0.236 is saying this thing could get some support at 0.142 pennies. We're currently at 1.148 pennies. The other thing that might provide us some support on the daily time frame here is this 21 exponential moving average sitting at 0.1439 pennies. So, you know, if Bitcoin's going to go down to 108K, I would probably start putting in some buy orders in at like 14 pennies and 0.142 pennies if you can, because you'll most likely get some support at that area. You got the 236 fib retracement, you got the 21 EMA, and you also got the 200 moving average at 14 pennies. So I think we're getting close to getting some support here on Pith Network, at least on the daily time frame here. Okay, but we'll see. If you don't get support there, then, you know, maybe we have to come down to the 100 or the 50 moving average. But that would be a disappointment for a lot of people that got into this asset, because you're giving back pretty much all the gains that you got since last Thursday. But obviously the bullish case is, you know, you get a bounce here and you could try to retrace yourself back to that 618 at like 19 and 20 pennies here, that golden pocket level. would be a take profit target in the future here, where you're gonna have to try to climb your way back up to 20 cents again, in my opinion. All right. Let's see. We'll take a look at pin link. Yep. Thank you for that request. I gotta write this down. Pin link. Is that the ticker symbol, or is there a shorter ticker symbol? Like, and what the exchange is pin link on? And then I have a request here for HMSTR. Is that like a MicroStrategy ETF or something like that? We'll take a look at that one if I can find it. And then our Bizzle is asking for compound. Okay, is that a stock? Or is that a crypto? If you guys can let me know. When you put in these requests, guys, unless it's like a really popular stock or crypto, it helps if you guys can tell me what exchange it's on and if it's a stock or a crypto. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know, our Bizzle. All right. We'll move on to Solana. That is the next request. Alright, so we got Solana currently trading at $202.45, down 3.9% today. And, you know, I was hoping that Solana would go up to higher prices, just like all the other Solana investors out there. But the thing that has me worried about Solana is that we are creating a rising wedge. If you can see the yellow lines here, let me just go ahead and try to hide this real quick. Let's see, hide that too. Okay, so you can see with the yellow lines here, I drew up the tops that we made here on Solana. And over here, you know, we had the steeper higher lows that were being formed. And this rising wedge is a bearish pattern to be seeing on the charts. It means that it's more likely that we drop down to lower prices than we end up going to higher prices once we get towards the end of this rising wedge here. Okay. We would expect resolution if we don't break out of the Solana pattern anytime soon, out of this rising wedge anytime soon. We would expect at least some resolution towards like the middle to end of September here, around like September 18th. Probably when the Federal Reserve makes a decision on interest rates is when we would expect Solana to finally make a decision. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? It could also go sideways. There's always three ways an asset can move: up, down, or sideways. Just stay the same. But the likelihood is that the bearish, the rising wedge is bearish, and if it is bearish, you know, we could come down to the moving average supports below us at $169 is the 50-day moving average. But that would invalidate all these higher lows that we made here. Okay. I'm waiting for Solana to make a lower low than what it did here on Monday, where we got as low as $194.20. If we lose that, then yeah, we're starting to make lower lows, and you're gonna have to start becoming short-term bearish on Solana, because I believe if we go below $194 on Solana, that would put us out of this rising wedge, and it would be a breakout to the downside. And of course, yeah, if we go lower than that low over here on Monday, then we got the next low to look out for at $185 that we did on Tuesday, August 26th. And yeah, then that would just confirm that we're probably breaking down to the downside out of this rising wedge here on Solana. Okay. That's my analysis for downside on Solana. We are in the rising wedge. But let me go ahead and turn on the Fibonacci that I had. Actually, do I really want to turn that one on? Yeah, I actually do want to turn it on. So I still believe that, you know, if Solana is going to be bullish, that we're going to probably head to this golden pocket level here between $220 and $225. That's a Fibonacci that I got from drawing out where Solana was at $295 back in January to the swing low here down in April when we got down to $95. It gives us these Fibonacci numbers to look out for. And upside targets, I still think Solana could reach 220 bucks in the future, in the near future here. But also we got the 0.786 that says we could see Solana get to $253 before it gets some resistance at that level. And that's upside targets for Solana. Downside, like I said, we could probably come right down to we would have to break through these higher lows that we made, but we might not get support until we come down to that 50-day moving average sitting at $169, and that's also confluent with the 0.32 at $171. All right, so that's Solana in a nutshell. Let's take a look at Pinlink. Pin USD. Looking at Pinlink, currently trading at 59 cents right now. Down 7% today. And this asset hasn't been trading long enough to actually get some good moving average data. You can see that the moving averages are now starting to come in. Like the 50 moving average came in, then the 100, then the 200 moving average started showing up. So I guess you could still use those as data for like where your resistance are going to be, because right now we're below most of those moving averages. The 200 moving average sitting at 72 cents, I think, would be the ultimate resistance level for Pinlink to get above. But if Pinlink does get above that 200 moving average at 72 cents, then I can start to become more bullish on this asset here. It looks like you kind of formed almost a double top here from like August 14th, and then over here on July 20th. All right, what qualifies as a double top? It has to be within 1 to 3% from each other. Okay. Right now we got a high here at 98 cents on July and a high of $1.03. Let me just quickly measure that out to see if it qualifies as a double top. Ooh, okay, about like 4%. It's supposed to be, you know, if you look at the Investopedia definition of a double top, they'll say a double top has to be within 1 to 3% of each other. I think somebody might say that's close enough, 4.5. But yeah, I guess you could say this is a double top, and that's the reason why this is played out to the bearish side here. You have a double top on Pinlink, and you came down. Obviously, you lost your 200-day moving average, and now you have to reclaim the 200-day moving average to become bullish on this asset. And I don't like the fact that, yeah, you had a what you thought was a higher low here on August 5th when we got down to 61 cents here, but now you came lower than that. You made a lower low at 52 cents on September 1st here. So now you're making lower highs and lower lows. But I'm trying to create a bullish case here for you guys now. If those are the lower lows and these are the lower highs here, this is sort of a falling wedge, okay? Not a rising wedge, but a descending or falling wedge here. And a descending wedge is actually, it usually breaks out to the upside and it's a bullish pattern. So maybe there might be some hope here for the bulls. I would say don't go lower than what you've already done. Let's try to get above the 200-day moving average here at 72 cents. But I wouldn't be surprised if we actually, especially with Bitcoin going down to low prices, I wouldn't be surprised if we have to continue grinding it out here, maybe even making lower lows here. And we're not going to get any resolution on this pattern until the middle of September. September 13th would be where you would think this falling wedge would have to make a decision as to whether we're going up or down. Okay. But usually falling wedges, they do break out to the upside. There's like a 30% chance that it might break down to the downside. Okay. So that's the only bit of hopium that I can give to you for Pinlink here. All right, moving on to HMSTR. That's interesting. I wonder what this one is. This probably has something to do with MicroStrategy, right? No, it's a crypto. I never heard of this one. HMSTR. What is HMSTR? What are they trying to accomplish? This looks like Is it a meme coin? Because I see like a little bit of a picture on it. We're getting this information off of Binance Exchange. And all right, HMSTR. Let's take a look at this thing. This thing's trading at the 0.000662 pennies, down 4.47% today. As I start to zoom out, it looks like most of these other altcoins out here. We have just lower highs and lower lows in the downtrend, obviously. But what can I gather from this thing here? Okay. Oh boy, yeah. So this is it bottoming out? That's probably my first question. Are we bottoming out? Are we creating bullish divergence? Are we creating higher lows and higher highs? That would be the first signs of bottoming out here. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out where the freaking low would be on this one. We got a low here on June where we came down to like 0.00636. So I'll just say 636. And it looks like we came down here on September 1st to 632. So we're still making lower lows compared to what we did here in June. At least here on Binance Exchange. So that must be frustrating the hell out of some people here. Let's see if there's any bullish divergence with the RSI here. Interesting. Okay, so you can see that the RSI got really severely depressively low back here in June, where we saw like RSI at like 14, 13, an RSI of like 12.5 on June 20th. And now the RSI is at 42, so you are making higher lows than the RSI. And funny enough, even though you can barely tell on this chart here, you are making a lower low on the price here, because you know you got down to like 632 on Monday, and on June 26th you got down to like 636. So ever so slightly you made bullish divergence. It's kind of almost flat here on the price, but still a lower low, and you clearly made higher lows here on the RSI, right? So you got bullish divergence. That's the beginning of bottoming out. If you're going to start becoming more bullish, this is saying that longs and investors are coming in to buy in at these at this price level. Now, one thing I would like to see next is, can we start making higher highs? And can we start making higher lows? Because if this low is now the lowest low for the year on September 1st, can we never go below that level again? And can we start forming an uptrend and get at least above the highs here in August, where we saw, you know, August 23rd, we were as high as 797 and 828 August 13th, and then I would love to get above at least this high over here on July 22nd at 964. Yeah, like a kind of like a Kennewick high here at 1111, but some people might call that a scam wick. Definitely got a lot of selling pressure over there, but that would be nice if we can get up to those highs as well. But I think you got a long way coming. You got a lot of work to do here on this crypto, because I can't be long-term bullish on this asset until you get above the 200-day moving average, and that's sitting at 1602 right now. But if you get to 1602, I think you made a good amount of money for yourself, because that's more than a double, almost a triple from where we are right now. Measuring from where we are to that 200 moving average as your target, about 141% gain. So you're gonna double your money. You're gonna like almost like a 2.5x, not a 3x, but like a 2.5x. If we can just get up to like 1604, that boo number right there. All right, I see we have Trade Into smash that like button if you guys haven't already. I'd like to see you guys do that if you can. And Trade, you're working on the charts. Yeah, I've been working on the charts too. I saw Bitcoin bearishly backtested the 1 hour 200 moving average, and I entered a short when I saw that. I didn't get the best entry because I saw that after the fact. But hey, it gives me ideas like where I could, plan my short. And I put my stop loss on my Bitcoin short at 110,500. Let's see, what is Bitcoin doing right now? Is it at 110,000 or are we at 109? What are we doing? We're at 110,158. So, okay, yeah, looking at Bitcoin now. And I was looking at the 1 hour time frame, and I saw what could be like a bear flag here on Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin might come down to 108,400. Now, I'm okay with being wrong on my Bitcoin short. I'll only lose about maybe like 20 or 30 bucks. I can't remember the exact number, but I don't plan on losing more than $20 on any of my trades. Unless I double down and I make it a bigger trade, then I might lose like 40 bucks if I'm wrong. But yeah, if I'm wrong, then Bitcoin needs to get back up to 110,500, and that would put us above that 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, that red line right there. But if I'm right, and we've kind of come out of this bear flag that I've measured here, then my bear flag is saying that we come down to like $108,400. And $108,400 is confluent with this low that we did back here on Tuesday around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time here. Bitcoin actually came down to 108,400, so that's an area that I'm looking for. But we could also go a little bit further than that. You could take the short all the way down to like 107,400, just like we did here on Monday when we were at that area. So I got my take profit zone here on my short if Bitcoin does decide to go that low. But let me give a shout out to Trade Intuition and Crypto Princess. See if I can pull you guys up here real quick. Of course, I have to do my shameless self-plug, guys. If you want to see my content, all of my content, my live streams, my tutorial videos, and even my YouTube shorts, then you should come check me out on Meet Damien YouTube channel here. Where you'll get all my content, okay? And then I even have some tutorial videos here I think might be useful, like how to use the Fibonacci tool, how to use the volume range visual profile indicator and trade with it, and then also how to read a candlestick chart pattern. But I have a YouTuber here that I want to show you guys real quick, who's also good on the charts, and you can find him on the live stream like every day between 12 to 1 or 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time here. We got Joe from Trade Intuition. He goes live almost the same time slot that I do. Today I actually had to do some stuff with my rental cars, so I wasn't able to go live at 12 p.m. like I normally do. But here I am at 4 o'clock doing a live stream for you guys. But anyways, yeah, check out Trade Intuition. He's got some good alpha, some good analysis on crypto, and he's also has some good music too. I like listening to the music on his live streams. And then another YouTuber that showed up to live stream, I gotta give a shout out to Crypto Princess here. Hopefully, I'm able to pull her name up there. Crypto Princess, there she is. Crypto Princess, you can come join her community. She has 20,000 subscribers. Great British accent. Has been interviewing people that are in the crypto space, and she also has been doing some videos and some YouTube shorts on like various cryptocurrencies like HBAR, Sui, Ondo, Render, Binance. Really great person to learn more about crypto from a fundamentals analysis as to like what that crypto actually does. Okay, and if you want to learn more about what that crypto actually does and what it can do for you, then I would check out her channel here and learn more about it with her very lovely British voice. I gotta mention that one more time. I love listening to her voice. It could put me to sleep sometimes. You know, sometimes I'll listen to it before I go to bed. I'll listen to one of her videos. All right, let's see. We got some more requests here. We just looked at HMSTR. We got to look at Compound, and then let's see. We got a request for World Liberty Finance from Idris. I see you. Okay, I'll put that in there. And Freeboy wants to look at Ethereum. Okay, I got you on that. And let's say D2 Miami wants to look at Demo. Okay. Alright, we'll look at that at the Compound, because that came in before the other requests. And oh yeah, we got Ethereum as well. Alright, so I guess we gotta look at Ethereum, then Demo, then World Liberty Finance. But let me look at Compound for the guy who put that request in. Compound. Alright, so looking at Compound, trading at $41.96. And let me get into the daily time frame here. It's always good to start off on the daily chart here. Compound below all the moving averages, so that's not good. That's no bueno. I have to be bearish just knowing the fact that it's below the 200 moving average, below that red line. You got to get above $45.72 before I start to become bullish on this asset. What have you been doing? Ooh, ever so slightly higher lows. You were doing that for the longest time, but I think you lost the trend now. So you were putting in higher lows ever since the beginning of April on this asset, which was good to see, but now you're kind of losing that right now. Let's see, the last significant low was July 8th, and we came down to $40.06. And it looks like here on Monday you came down to $41.23. Alright, so I get still a higher low, but you kind of lost this pretty obvious uptrend. So you're kind of flirting with and playing with fire, in my opinion here, losing this uptrend that you had on the higher lows here. I guess I would become more bearish on this asset if you lose that low from July. Don't go low. Don't go lower than $47.01. Let me go highlight that on the chart for you. Do not go lower than $41. Around this area. Don't, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, what is that? $40. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. $39.88. Don't go lower than $39.80 for the most part here. Yeah, do not go lower than that because you are playing with fire, even more fire at that point. Okay, because then you're not even making higher lows anymore. You're making lower lows, and you're also below the 200 moving average. It's hard for me to create a bullish case for this asset. The bullish case would be you don't go any lower than what you did already, and then you start going to higher prices here, and you got to get above that 200 moving average at $45.72. And then I want to start seeing some higher highs being formed at some point. You know, get above this last high here on Saturday, 23rd at $50, but ultimately get above this other high here in August when you got up to like $57. Okay, right now, I mean, you could be buying the lows for the month of September, maybe. But I really think you're playing with fire here. But you could put your stop loss. I put the stop loss right below the low in July at like $39.80. And if this thing goes lower than $39.80, you probably don't want to stick around to find out how bad it can get, because I feel like it could get a lot worse, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, upside targets, so you're gonna have your moving averages as resistance, and then you gotta see if you can get past the highs here in August. So that's compound. Let's go ahead and take a look at we'll take a look at Ethereum and then Demo. What is Ethereum doing? I know Ethereum was kind of flirting with danger on the 1 hour time frame, just like Bitcoin. Ethereum currently trading at 43.06. Over the long term, I would love to buy more Ethereum. Anywhere between $4,200 and $3,900 is a buy zone that I identified. That I would love to buy some Ethereum if I could. You can see we only temporarily came into that zone back here on August 19th and August 20th. But we didn't really have much of an opportunity to buy it below $4,200. We did come down to 42.09 here on Monday. We might see the low 4200s again later on tonight if Bitcoin's going to be bearish. If we get some more of a downdraft here on crypto. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Let's see how Ethereum looks like on the 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour time frame, Ethereum has lost the 200 moving average. We kind of regained it. We gained it back here on Wednesday morning, yesterday. And then we just went flat for the day. And then we just lost it here on Wednesday night. Then we came back and we bearishly back tested it this morning, the 200 moving average. And then we lost it. So yeah, I mean, if you're trading Ethereum, that was your confirmation to enter a short on Ethereum when you lost that when you barely back tested the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. That would have been a good area to short. And had you done that, where would you be at right now if you just shorted after barely back testing it? You'd be, down 2.7%. Slap on some 10x leverage. That's like a 27% move with 10x leverage. With 100x leverage, that would be what? 270%? Oh man! All right. So Ethereum being just as confusing as Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame here. We're flirting with the moving averages on the 1 hour time frame. The lowest low for the week as of now is 42.09 on Monday. Then we had the low here at 42.56. And it looks like we came and we're getting a bounce right now off of that 42.65 level here. So yet still, believe it or not, you're making higher lows. So there's a little bit of hope out there. This could be the lows for the day. And we could be coming right back to that hopefully that 200 moving average right above you at $4,400, $4,413. Might be worth taking along if you're day trading it. You could put could have put your stop loss at 42.60. And you could ride this thing up to 4,400 or 4410 maybe, 4413, somewhere where the 200 moving average is at. There could be a long over here, possibly. But we're gonna have to monitor this throughout the night. See if Ethereum is gonna try to do try to do a rally here, or are we gonna just create a bear flag and then come back down to lower lows? All right, I see Ava Medina's in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. But I guess let me zoom back out here to the daily time frame. If you're in Ethereum for the long term, you're trying to see if Ethereum can get back up to like 4,800, 4,900, which was like previous all-time highs from 2021. And $4,900 is where we saw Ethereum at back in on Sunday, August 24th. So you're just hoping to get back to those levels in the near term. But then also we got a 1618 that says Ethereum could get up to like 5,800, maybe later on in 2025. All right, moving on from Ethereum, we'll take a look at Demo. Demo USD. Man, I feel like I do a lot of talking. I think I still got a little bit of energy to do the rest of these requests though. Ava Medina's like, I need some cheaper Ethereum. Don't we all? Demo currently trading at 6.5 cents roughly. Wow, Demo kind of looks just like Pith Network. Almost like the same chart. Where on the daily time frame here, you had on Monday, not this past Monday, but the Monday before that, August 25th, you went up like 53% that day, and then you went up another 45% thereafter. And I drew out the Fibonacci on this, and these are the levels to look out for. We're actually at the 0.236 Fibonacci retracement. So we're at the deepest retracement you could possibly do. We're also at the 200 moving average, so I would expect Demo to like kind of like sit back and settle down here around 6 to 6.5 pennies. Try to get some support off the moving averages before we try to make a run up to higher prices here. Would be nice if we don't make a lower low than what we did here on Friday at like 0.057 pennies. Don't go lower than that, because then you're starting to make a case. You're making a bearish case that you're making lower highs and lower lows. So you don't want to do that. If we can stay above that level, then we can make a bullish case that we're making higher lows here. And if we are going to go to higher prices, I would at least expect us to get back up to the 618 as a normal retracement. That would take you up to like 9.5 pennies. So I think that's your upside target if you're day trading or swing trading this. And then for the longer term, we got 14.5 pennies is your 1272 fib extension, and we have 1618 at 17 pennies is another possible target later on in 2025. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you're getting above the 200 moving average. Right now you're flirting with the danger of closing below the 200 moving average. But I think, you know, get a couple of more good days of some positive price action, stay above the 200 moving average, and you can say that this thing is finally done bottoming out after all this crazy price action to the downside all throughout 2025. You might finally be bottoming out here and trying to create an uptrend. All right, moving on from Demo, we gotta look at World Liberty Finance. I see we have a request for Sui. I'll write that down. Thank you for the request. Don't forget to hit the like button. And you're welcome, D2 Miami. Ali, if you want to join the Meet Damien community, well, first I see you on TikTok, so don't forget to go on TikTok here and click that follow button, right? I see I got a few more followers just now. Thank you, thank you. I am trying to get up to like 10,000 followers if I can. If you want to stay up to date, besides joining the Meet Damien TikTok community, then you could also join the Meet Damien Discord, right? Where you'll see where when I go live, okay? And I give out, you know, some of my opinions about the reports that come out throughout the week, like the ADP jobs report. I give you guys an idea of like how my trades are going. Maybe you can copy my trades. But in order for you to get this link to the Meet Damien channel, right? You're gonna have to I'm gonna have to send you this link right here So if you message me on TikTok, I'll message you back and I'll give you the link to join the Discord. And you can stay in touch with the Meet Damien Discord. Okay. Also, you can find me on YouTube as well, and I have a Meet Damien Twitter as well. So if you type in like Meet Damien on Twitter, you should see my profile picture. It's just me in the red shirt with the pilot headset. You can find me on Twitter as well. Alright. So that's my shameless plug there. And then also, yeah, don't forget to check out Meet Damien on YouTube if you haven't already. You'll get all my content there as well on YouTube. So there's multiple ways you can stay in touch with me and join the Meet Damien community here. Alright, going back to World Liberty Finance though. And I just saw that Porky Flounder join the chat. I'm gonna have to give you a shout out as well, Porky. Yeah, we're gonna do Sui. You typing Sui a bunch of times is not gonna make me go to Sui any sooner. I have to get through the other requests as well. But right now we're looking at the World Liberty Finance. It's a rather new coin. So I don't have that much data to go off of. This thing is trading at 18.5 cents, and not looking good on World Liberty Finance. Hopefully you did not buy at $1. Because this thing is now at 18 cents. That was a good way to lose a lot of money right there. I don't know what I can do with this. I could try going maybe the 15-minute time frame. I get some moving averages going on here. So we're looking at the 15-minute time frame on World Liberty Finance. And this is automatically it's a bear market because you're below the moving averages, except for the 21 EMA. You're below the 200 moving average, sitting at 20 cents. That could be your short-term resistance. Also, this is where previous price action was at. It was around like 21, 22 cents here. So I would expect resistance if you get back up to that level there. But I don't want to do you any injustice here, but one could say this is an inverted head and shoulder pattern, okay? And if this is an inverted head and shoulder pattern, you just measure from the bottom of the head to where the neckline is between these two shoulders, right? You get the left shoulder, right shoulder. You just take this to where the neckline is at, and that gives you your measure move. But I think we already hit that already. Yeah, we kind of came up to 19.5 cents. Earlier this afternoon, and this was saying 19.5 cents was the target. 19, that blue number there, 0.196 pennies. But on the 15-minute time frame, I mean, if this was the bottom, then you are making higher lows here, and eventually you just want to keep climbing back up to get back up to like 22 pennies. But I think once you get there, you're gonna get resistance off that 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. But that's all I can do. There's really not much data besides using the 15-minute time frame. I wouldn't put too much money in this coin since it's a brand new coin, because you dropped 90% since day one. Like, this thing was trading at $1, and you dropped from $1 to 18 pennies. That's like that was an 81% drop right there. But the problem with that is, yeah, you might be thinking you're catching the bottom, but like, what if this thing goes from like 18 pennies down to like, 2 pennies or 3 pennies? Oh, I gotta redraw that. But if you go down from like where you are right now down to like 2 pennies, that's another 86% drop. So you might think like, oh, it dropped 86%. It can't drop another 86%. Nuh-uh. This thing could go down to a penny or two, and you could see yourself drop another 86% after you already dropped 86%. That's the dangerous part about cryptocurrencies. There's not much backing them up. Okay? You really have to pick the right ones. If it hasn't been around for a while, you really have to make sure you know which one you're picking at and make sure it has a good use case. or if there's a way for it to make money, you know, like some of these cryptocurrency exchange tokens, like Binance Coin makes money because they take money from their trading fees and they use that to burn the coin off, and they shrink the supply of the coin, and it actually puts value into the coin. Now, I'm not sure what World Liberty Finance is going to do to make money and actually bring value to their coin. But if they're not able to bring value to the coin, then yeah, this thing could drop another 80% after it already dropped 80%. That's what I want to bring to your attention here with these cryptocurrencies. You know, I've done it myself. I bought a coin one time that was at $1, and I bought it at 6 pennies, thinking that I caught the drop. You know, like a 95% drop. And you know what it ended up doing after that? It dropped another 95%. It went from like 6 pennies to less than a penny, and then it got delisted because it wasn't even worth putting on the exchange and no one was trading it. So I speak from experience when I say, like, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble with some of these crypto coins. You know, you're thinking you're buying the drop. You think you're buying the low, you know, after it dropped 90%, and then it could just drop another 90% on you. So be careful with that. All right, we're gonna move on to Sui, because I know my buddy here would be spamming me, trying to get me to look at Sui. So we're looking at Sui now for user 596000, whatever that's supposed to mean. We're looking at your Sui coin now. And we're looking at the daily time frame for Sui. Sui is actually my second biggest spot bag, because I actually think I like the development team behind Sui. A lot of their people came from Facebook, and the person that created the movement protocol technology is actually working on the Sui project as their chief technology officer. So they got a lot of smart people working on Sui, and they're trying to build up their project and their team over there. So with that being said, I'm hoping Sui does go up to higher prices, because that's my second biggest spot bag. And what I've seen so far in the chart is I've seen, you know, lower highs here and lower lows, but you're creating a falling wedge, and you would expect this falling wedge to break out to the upside. Looks like Sui's kind of doing that, but not really. They're doing it very weakly. We're breaking out to the side, to the right side. So it's weak sauce. It's not really a violent move up to the upside here on this falling wedge, but usually falling wedges, they are bullish. So Sui's doing what it can to try to remain bullish here. And as long as you're above that 200-day moving average, I can still remain bullish. $3.13 is where this 200-day moving average is sitting at. He actually back tested that here on Monday. And that gave me a little bit of hope that, you know, you had the falling wedge, you had the back test off the 200 moving average, and maybe Sui could try to retrace itself back up to the 618 Fibonacci retracement at $3.62. That was my first target here on Sui for the short term. However, we're getting a bearish engulfing candle on the daily time frame. And if we get some follow through, then yeah, we could possibly come and retest the 200-day moving average at 313 again, which is also confluent with the 0.32, saying that $3.13 is the level to be looking out for on Sui. So I think downside, $3.13 is Sui's downside target. Upside target, we're looking to see if Sui can get back up to 360 and 369 here. Okay. And then also, we would like to see Sui get back up to higher prices and get up to like 443, which we saw back here on July, right? We saw Sui at $4.44. But we gotta take it one level at a time here. And right now, you know, Sui is getting bounced in between the 200-day and the 50-day. That 50 days at $3.38. We're just playing around with the moving averages, in my opinion, until we can finally get some direction here. I think we might get some direction tomorrow, guys. We have the jobs report coming out for the United States. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. I think tomorrow morning, mark this on your calendar, Friday, September 5th at 8:30 a.m. U.S. employment report comes out. We're expecting 75,000 jobs The month before that, we had 73,000 jobs. We're expecting an unemployment rate of like 4.3%. Okay, a little bit higher than what we had last month. So they are expecting some weakness in the jobs market. If we get a number lower than that, like 60,000 or 50,000, that's going to justify to the Federal Reserve that they need to lower interest rates, and that should be in the long term bullish for the cryptocurrency markets. We might get, you know, some volatility where the markets might not like the fact that we're losing jobs so fast, and there might be, you know, that's where we might actually see Bitcoin go down to 108K going into tomorrow morning if we get a number worse than this. So that's the number to look out for, guys. Is jobs report 8:30 tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Be on the lookout for that. And I think that's also going to give us some direction here for SUI. I think these cryptocurrencies are waiting to find out what's going on with the United States job market and what's going to happen with interest rates. Trade Intuition said he's been there before. Try to catch the bottom and then it drops more. Same with RSI. Buying for the balance. Bought at RSI at 28 and then 15 and then 8 and then 3. And then it never recovered. Yeah. These cryptocurrencies are almost similar to, like, in stock market world, like penny stocks, for those who are familiar with stock market. But sometimes they're even worse than penny stocks, because at least with some of these penny stocks, they're able to make money. Some of these cryptocurrencies are not able to make money. And there's no reason to even buy them if they're not making money. And especially if the team just disappears. There's like no, you know, like incentive for some of these developers is to stay with the project, and then if they disappear, then there's no one working on the project, and then it becomes a dead coin, and the price reflects that by going close to $0. Andreas is being funny. He says, "Orange Man is finally getting rich with that." Free Boy wants to look at XRP. We can look at XRP. And then Mike Jones. What is Mike Jones saying? He said he watched one of his cryptos tank and then he left. Yeah. I think we all had that story with crypto. I think we've all, at some point, especially if you start playing around with, you know, altcoins and small market cap altcoins, you're eventually going to run into one of them that takes you all the way down to zero, and then it, you know, it's like kiss your money goodbye. You're not going to get it back unless, I don't know, somebody decides to come on the project and do something with it. Maybe start burning the token off or whatever. Price target on SUI. I already gave the price target site. For SUI, upside target right now, 360. Downside target, 200-day moving average at $3.13. You gotta stay above that. Alright, if you lose that, then I start to worry for SUI that we could go lower. Probably down to like $2.80. Where you were like hanging out here back in June at 280. So yeah, don't lose 313 because you could go down to 280 on SUI. Alright, moving on to XRP. Let's go ahead and I already got this chart right over here. XRP currently trading at $2.79, roughly $2.80. And what is XRP doing? You're playing around with the 0.5 retracement. Is the Fibonacci level that I've been looking for on XRP. It's trying to hold that support for now. We have come down to these levels before back in August, the beginning of August, and we're trying to stay above that $2.80 level if we can. If we do go lower, there's a 50-day moving average that could provide support at 268. So you could go from 280 down to 270 on XRP. But then there'll be even more support at this 0.382 retracement at 257. where I think the 100-day moving average could also act as support if the price does come down to that level. So it's very easy on XRP. If you don't hold 280, then 270 comes into play. If you can't hold 270, then 260 comes into play. And those are the levels that you're looking for on the downside. Now, upside target, let's try to get back up to $3 like I thought we were going to hold. I think a lot of XRP investors thought we were gonna hold that $3, and then we lost it, you know, for sure, towards the end of August here. And then I want to see us climb back up to that 786 retracement at $3.28. But I think, yeah, short-term target for XRP, let's get back up to $3, and then basically $3.30 will be your next upside target after that. And that's XRP in a nutshell. I gave you the downside and the upside targets here. Let's see if there's any good news with the oscillators. RSI is at 42 on XRP. So, you know, it has the juice in the tank to go to higher prices if it's going to let us do it. And MACD, you have had selling pressure all throughout the end of July, going into August, and now September. But I see I see higher lows here on the MACD. You could be getting a MACD flip and finally getting some buying pressure, maybe towards the end of September here for XRP. And then look at this, one last bit of good news. You had a green buy dot here on yesterday. And usually with the green buy dot, you usually get maybe a couple of days, maybe even a week or two of some positive price action. Now what's been confusing is, like, last time we've been getting some green dots, we immediately get like a red dot like 2 days later, you know, or a day later. So just because we got a green dot now doesn't mean we can't get a red dot again, but I'd be surprised if we do, because we're like near the bottom end of this range here on Market Cipher B. I'm not sure how much more money could be pouring out of XRP at this point. And since I mentioned that, let's look at money flow indicator real quick here, just to get an idea of like what the money flow is doing for XRP. You can see money flow was pouring in the XRP, especially after that stablecoin bill. You know, we came in with a big rush of money going into XRP, and we topped out around July 21st, and then it hasn't been the same. We've been seeing some money going into XRP, but not enough to move the needle. And we are about to go into negative flow here, like we saw back here in June for XRP. If we're not able to get more money in the XRP, yeah, you're gonna see lower prices on XRP if you can't put more money into it. So that's the money flow indicator there. Alright, I think I'm getting towards the end of this live stream here, guys. I think we had a pretty good live stream so far. And I'm getting a little bit tired myself. Had a long day. I don't know if I got the energy to continue doing another hour here. I think we're going live for about an hour and a half, so that's good enough for me. We've talked about a good amount of cryptos here. But yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to make it onto the live stream here. Let's finish off here on Bitcoin, see what Bitcoin's doing. Ooh, Bitcoin wants to stop me out on my short. Okay. Just like it tried to stop me out on my longs earlier this week. Or I could just maybe double down on my short if I'm still convinced that we're going down. But yeah, Bitcoin currently at 110,358. It's been climbing ever since I've gone live, so I guess you guys can say thank you and you're welcome for coming on to the live stream and watching the price of Bitcoin go up in the meantime. Let's get into the 1 hour time frame. Actually, before I go to 1 hour time frame, let me just show you on the daily time frame here. The 50-day moving average could act as resistance at 111,700, like it has earlier today. Alright, I would like to see us get above 111,700 for us to become more bullish here on Bitcoin. And if we do, then I think 113,400 is a number to look out for on the upside for Bitcoin. Okay. And that's identifying the tops here that we saw here on August 28th. We got up to like 113,480, and then here on Monday, August 25th, we got up to 113,640. So I think that's a good area to be looking for as our next resistance level for Bitcoin to the upside. Now zooming in onto the 1 hour time frame, which I think is pretty important for us to focus on. Yeah, look at that. Bitcoin has climbed up over the last couple hours since I've been live here. And we're coming for anybody that put their stop loss above the 200 moving average, like myself. I have my stop loss at 110,500, which is like kind of like the top of this candle wick here on 10 o'clock this morning. If we can get above that, then we basically erased all of this negative price action to the downside over the afternoon, and we could be possibly making our way up to higher prices. Now, we could get rejected from this candle wick high here at 111,158 and 111,178. If you're day trading this, that would be your next target. If you're long in this, you know, be careful, because you could get rejected. We could also make a lower high at some point and not even make it up to that level, so be on the lookout for that as well. But if we're playing games and we're still going to the downside here, I think this bear flag could break out to the downside, and we could see $108,400 Bitcoin, that red number there. Okay, and that's just the measure move out of this bear flag that we possibly could be creating, and we might break out like that. Okay, so if we go back down to 110k and we lose 110k, I be on the lookout. We might actually want to come down just a little bit further down here on Bitcoin. But like I said earlier in the live stream, and of course on the title of the video, the markets have been choppy. They've been playing games with both the longs and the shorts, especially over the weekend. They stopped out the shorts by making a lower low here on Monday, and they stopped out the they stopped out the longs by making a lower low on Monday, and they also stopped out the shorts here by making higher high compared to what they did here on Saturday. And we did get direction that we were going up, only for us to give up those gains that we made over on Wednesday. We gave up all those gains on Thursday, and we're making lower low compared to the lows that we did here on Wednesday and even Tuesday. If we continue going down to lower prices, back down to 108,400, you basically gave up all the price action that you did for the week, going back to like Tuesday. So for the day traders out there, I understand why you're frustrated. It's like, if you're long in it, you're doing a round trip, okay? And even if you're shorting it, right, you're getting hit on your stops, and then when you come down, you don't really come down in a convincing fashion before you kind of flag out a little bit. Okay, but yeah, right now I have to be cautiously optimistic on Bitcoin, because we're now getting above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. A couple hours ago, I was becoming more bearish. Now I have to become bullish again, because we're getting above the 200 moving average, and we're about to close this 1 hour candle. About a minute and 37 seconds. I'll stick around for this. But if we close above that 200 moving average and we get some follow through, then this could be all one bad dream. And looks like my short, will get stopped out at 110.5. And I could just add that to another trade that didn't go well for me today. Ugh. Choppiness. Not fun for trading. Bit by Bit says it's crazy to see Bitcoin being traded at this level. His first purchase was $2,500. I actually bought Bitcoin when it was at $3,000 myself back in 2017. So I've already done well for myself. And then I bought Ethereum as well at like $200. Sold it at $3,800. And I bought Solana at like $16 and $13 when everybody was panicking about FTX bankruptcy. So I'm definitely a good long-term swing term, long-term trader and investor and a swing trader. I definitely can pinpoint those. Day trading, still tough. It gets a lot more tougher when you're trying to day trade. Forrester Life says it's going to 111K. I hope so. And then we already checked Solana, Forrester. I'll give you a quick summary analysis. I'm getting ready to close out the live stream here, but downside targets, we could come down to $195, which is that 0.32 retracement. I gotta zoom out to the daily time frame here. I'm sorry, not the 0.3, the 0.5 retracement is $195. And then upside target, we could see $220, as I'm still targeting 220 and 225 as a significant resistance level. But the thing I don't like about Solana is that we're in a rising wedge, and that usually breaks out to the downside. 70% of the time it normally breaks out to the downside. But there's that 30% chance that we actually break out to the upside. I would want to see Solana actually vigorously go up to 220 bucks or higher, maybe like 230 or 240, and then kind of change this narrative around where if we go up to like 230, 240, then we're actually in more of a rising channel than we are in a rising wedge. And a rising channel is a lot more bullish than a rising wedge. But as of now, we're like forming a rising wedge on Solana, and I can't be bullish on that. Alright, let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, on the 1 hour time frame, we're at 110,400. And you can see that the 1 hour time frame candle, we have a new candle being formed right now. 58 minutes left on this. I'm not going to stick around for that, but we're kind of getting a little bit of a red candle here, but we'll see how it progresses in the next hour. But this was good to see here that Bitcoin actually got above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Bullish engulfing green candle too, and got above the highs. Definitely got above the 200 moving average in a convincing fashion. Now, can we get some follow through? That's what we're looking for. But I can't stick around longer than that, guys. That's going to be it for this live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. I'll see you guys. I'm actually going to try to go live early tomorrow morning. Earlier than 12 a.m. Because once again, I got some work to do with the rental cars. So I figure I'll go early tomorrow. Maybe like 10 or 11 a.m. and do like a 1 hour live stream before I have to work on the rental cars again. Alright, till next time, guys. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get involved in.